Friends, welcome at the Summary Club. Today we will tell you about the most beautiful and attractive places on our planet. After all, since ancient times, people have been attracted by the beauty of our Earth. Ancient cities of ancient times, mysterious forests, temples, which reek of tranquility. So, I present you our top 12 most beautiful and mystical places and attractions of our planet. 12th place, Vietnamese Bridge Bon A Hills Resort, Vietnam. One of the most famous bridges in the world, was built in 2018 at a resort location in Vietnam near the city of Da Nang. The bridge is 1,414 meters above sea level and is 150 meters long. The views here are incredible. The frame of this unusual, very beautiful and even in many ways mystical bridge is made of steel, and the hands that hold it artificially aged and covered with fiberglass. What makes this bridge mysterious is, of course, its main part, the huge palms holding it. They are reminiscent of one of the characters of ancient Greek myths, the Titan Atlantis, who held up the sky. So if you want to fully enjoy the beautiful views and tickle your nerves with huge hands, be sure to come to Vietnam. 11th place, Machu Picchu, America, Peru. The most ancient city in ruins. In 2007, it was named the new wonder of the world. And it is, as you have already understood, located in Peru near the village of Aguascalientes, on top of a mountain at an altitude of 2,400 meters. It was built by Pachacutec, the 9th ruler of the Inca Empire, according to scholars. At the moment, Machu Picchu is a famous tourist site with a rich history and architecture. A railroad was built to make it more accessible, but the number of tourists in one day was limited. But to get there, of course, is possible, and maybe even necessary, because this mysterious city will tell you an interesting story of ancient and already disappeared from our Earth mysterious people. So if you want to visit the real ancient Inca city, feel the spirit of ritual sacrifices, which are said to have been performed here for centuries, and feel the warmth of the real and most mystical temple of the sun on Earth, then welcome to Peru. 10th place, Angkor, another ancient mystical city that has been dubbed sacred. Its ruins are located in Cambodia near Tonle Sap Lake to the north and the Kulin Plateau to the south. In the past it was the very center of the Khmer Empire because at the time of its heyday in the city lived more than 1 million people. At first glance, one could not believe that such a place could really exist. An amazing structure, walls overgrown with moss, trees stretched out on the roof. In spite of the large tourist center located here, this city will take any traveler into a world of legends and mysteries. So we can also recommend you to visit it. 9th place, Golden Gate Bridge. Yes, now we are transported to the United States, to the city of San Francisco. And we see a bridge over the strait, called the Golden Gate. The total length of the bridge is 2,737 meters, the height is 227 meters. And its construction lasted about 4 years since 1933. But most importantly, at night there is an incredible view of the futuristic, reflecting off the water surface, countless lights of the bridge. Although this remarkable structure has its own sad and even largely mystical history. The fact is that the Golden Gate Bridge is one of the most common suicide sites in the world, which, however, makes it even more attractive to some desperate tourists. 8th place, Bran Castle, Transylvania, Romania. What comes to mind when you hear the word Pennsylvania are dark, cold castles, vampires, evil things. But Pennsylvania is a US state, and one of the birthplaces of vampire legends was Romania. Perhaps the similarity of words once gave rise to the myth of Pennsylvania as a den of uncleanness. But we got a little distracted. There are many castles in Romania, but in our opinion it is Bran Castle that is incredibly picturesque and fits the above legends about Dracula. The building itself dates back to the 14th century. It has 4 levels, which are connected by stairs. It served as a defensive fortress. According to legend, Vlad Tepes Dracula, a warlord famous for his immeasurable cruelty, used to visit here. 7th place, Easter Island. Easter Island is another beautiful and mystical place in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It is also one of the most remote islands in the world. For example, the distance from it to the coast of Chile is 3,514 kilometers. The capital of Easter Island is Angkor. The population is only 5,806, so it is an ideal place for introverts and people who like peace and quiet. However, it is not just the quietness that makes this place famous, but rather the large and unusual statues, or moai made of compressed volcanic ash. It is believed that the statues of Easter Island were made by local residents, but there is no idea how the statues were moved because the largest moai weighs about 82 tons. The islanders believe that the statues contain the supernatural power of the ancestors. Also, the original settlers who lived at the foot of the volcano Ranu Kau believed in the deity of the human bird Make and performed annual sacrifices. So Easter Island has not yet definitely revealed all its secrets and may reveal them to you in a whole new way if you dare to go there.
Subscribe to the Summary Club and watch short versions of the most popular and useful videos every day.
6th place, Stonehenge, the county of Wiltshire, England. It is located about 130 kilometers from London. Stonehenge is a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986. This monument consists of large stone blocks of different shapes and dates from around the Bronze Age. And architect Inigo Jones speculated that the site was built by the ancient Romans. So there is still controversy about the origin of this structure and even about its real purpose. There is a legend that this structure was a shrine to the Druids. Scientist Duncan Steele even said that Stonehenge was designed to predict cosmic catastrophes. What do you think it was built for? And of course, in any case, it still remains one of the most mystical places on the planet and one of the unsolved mysteries of mankind. 5th place, Aokigahara Forest, Honshu, Japan. Aokigahara translates as plain of blue trees or sea of trees. This forest is located at the foot of Mount Fuji. It is located on the land of volcanic rock. And here, by the way, compasses don't even work. Why not? In some areas there are deposits of iron ore, which explains this phenomenon. The forest was formed about 1,200 years ago, according to scientists. This place, like the Golden Gate Bridge, is additionally very popular with suicides. This is due to the sad history when old people were brought here during the famine. Why did we put such places in the top? The fact is that these facts do not make these monuments of history or nature any less picturesque and beautiful. Aokigahara even has special tours for school children and tourists, as well as films about this forest. For example, the film Forest of Ghosts, you may even be familiar with it. But if not, just come and experience this amazing, mystical and beautiful place on your own. If you are not afraid, of course. 4th place, the city of Peter, Jordan. Another ancient incredible city, the capital of Idumea, later the Nabatean kingdom. The inhabitants nicknamed the city Rakmo. It is located at an altitude of over 900 meters above sea level. There were two main trading roads. The first was the Red Sea to Damascus, the second connected the Persian Gulf to Gaza. There are many monuments in Petra, but El Hans is very popular, which arrivals enter through Sick Canyon. El Hans itself resembles a sculpture carved out of sand and is also rightfully one of the most picturesque of the most arid places on the planet, which still conceal the remains of vanished cultures and civilizations. 3rd place, Lake Angkor, Canada. Lake Angkor is located in the southern part of the territory between Lakes Dimma and Gatgate. The total area is 510 square kilometers. This lake, among other things, is rich in pike and trout, so it is a popular place among fishing enthusiasts. But it also holds the mystery of the deserted nearby village of the same name. The fact is that the village of Angkor was once a sought-after Arctic territory that the United States, Canada and Norway could not divide among themselves. Despite the lack of forests, many hunters came here. Some locals even provided overnight lodging for travelers. One day a hunter decided to spend the night in the village, but to his surprise he found not a single soul. So in one day an entire village disappeared, and, of course, in a completely inexplicable way. So if you want to tickle your nerves with mysteries and riddles, this wonderful and beautiful mystical place is also open to the public today, but then do not say th. 2nd place, Dyatlov Pass, and here, perhaps, is one of the most infamous mystical places in Russia, or perhaps the whole world. The well-known history of this place began with a hike through the northern Urals led by Igor Dyatlov. The entire group of tourists, with the exception of one survivor, Yuri Yudin, is missing. The results of the official investigation suggest an accident. However, there is no exact data on the disappearance of these people, and therefore the story has become surrounded by a huge number of versions. The tents were found under the snow. They were probably just snowed in, but not a single person was found inside. There were tourists' belongings, backpacks, skis, shoes, etc. The question immediately arises, what could have prompted people to abandon all their belongings and leave? The first two bodies were found 1.5 kilometers from the campsite near the remains of a small fire. The body of Igor Dyatlov, the head of the group, was found 300 meters from this place. The body of a girl without shoes was found at about the same distance. By numerous requests of the relatives of the victims, a criminal case was opened, but it did not give exact answers to the questions. Actually, that is why many mystical legends have appeared, especially considering the poses and grimaces of horror on the faces of found bodies of tourists, and the fact that this place is a mountain of spirits, demons and ancestors is worshipped by the local population for more than 100 years. Because of that, we do not really advise to stay there overnight alone, but fans tickle their nerves a lot, and now at these places are not so rare go tourist groups of extreme people, and recently such lethal events have not been recorded. First place, the Bermuda Triangle, and perhaps the most mysterious object known to people all over the planet, about which almost hundreds of movies have been filmed, is the Bermuda Triangle. It is located between very rich resorts such as Puerto Rico, Miami, and Bermuda. Therefore, this place cannot be isolated in any way. Even nowadays, many ships and aircraft periodically cross the area without any problems. However, it is not uncommon for ships and aircraft to go missing. Various instruments and compasses sometimes do not work here as well. One theory is methane bubbles. There are places where these bubbles form on the bottom. They can reach enormous sizes, and their density inside is higher than the density of air, which makes ships sink when they get into them. Cases of aircraft falling due to the same methane bubbles are not excluded. Methane is also explosive, which can also be one of the causes of a crash. And of course, if you season all of this often spoiling weather, storms and huge waves, and then formed a potent mix called the Bermuda Triangle, which is both anxious and scary to many tourists and seafarers, but it also draws them like a magnet, best islands and places for beach holidays in the world. So it's up to you, here as always, as they say, and want and prick. But if you like to overcome danger and risk their lives to visit beautiful places, then this region more than can be advised. This is our selection of the 12 most beautiful and mystical places on the planet today. Of course, in the world there is still a lot of interesting and mysterious, and even we have on the channel there are other selections of the most dangerous places for tourism and top of the most mystical places in the world, so see them. Or maybe you think there are more worthy sites, then write about them in the comments, and very soon we will release a sequel where we will tell about even more mesmerizing by its beauty and at the same time chilling mystical places for tourists of our time. And friend, don't forget to subscribe to the Summary Club for becoming more successful, educated, kinder and wiser every day. Save hundreds of hours and dollars spending on boring regular education. Feel free to write your opinions and questions about each video. We read all the comments. In addition, go to our official website where you can find reading materials or watch other videos on channel and links in the description. All the best.